Are we up online?
It just went up.
Yeah, so there you go. Good morning and thank you for joining us on After GMS. It is Thursday, July 22nd.
Almost Friday.
I can see it.
Hello,
It's in the
Friday.
distance.
It's coming closer and closer.
So excited about that. I'm Tracy McCain here with Megan Milleris and Christian Morgan. We have a lot to get to, but it's hot.
It is, I know, no matter what day it says on the calendar, Christian, it feels about the same outside.
It does. You know, you get to this time of the year and not a whole lot changes. Of course, the two big H's that we were talking about today, not only is it going to be hot, but we're talking about that haze in the sky. Take a look at this. Time lapse over Truist Field at Wake Forest University. Now, we've been talking about how some of this wildfire smoke and some of this haze can really make for an interesting sunrise or sunset. And that's what we had this morning over Truist Field at Wake Forest University. The sun kind of coming up, making for some good reds and pinks and oranges across the sky. Actually had a really nice sunset last night too, so a lot of great pictures coming in from that. Of course, because of all the haze and the smoke, we do have a code orange air quality alert in place today. And that goes into tomorrow as well. So what that means is sensitive groups of people, if you have asthma, or if you have breathing issues, you probably want to spend more time indoors than being outdoors today and tomorrow too, because that haze and that smoke and haze and smoke will really work on you if you're outside. Morning, noon, night, at any point really. Okay, so how is it getting here? Well, we have really strong upper level winds, or what we call the jet stream. So all of that smoke from the fires in California, Oregon, Idaho, Washington, it's carrying all that smoke to the East Coast and down into the Carolinas. And this is not going to be a one and done kind of thing. In fact, the haze will actually be a little bit worse today than it was yesterday. And then it sticks with us for a couple days after that. So we could even have air quality alerts as we go into the weekend. So of course, we'll keep you updated on that. For the here and now, the temperatures out the door this morning, really not all that bad. Upper 60s to near 70 right now. Much cooler along that North Carolina, Virginia border. And we've had a bit of a front that's been crossing across the Piedmont. And so you can really see that evident on our dew point map. Much drier air to the north along that North Carolina, Virginia border, with dew points right around 60. Further to the south, closer to that front, it's still muggy. So just depending on where you live, it's either really comfortable to be outside or it still kind of feels like soup outside, kind of south of that US 64 corridor. A bit of a front that's been parked to our south over the last several days, kind of washes out and fizzles out today. Meanwhile, the front that I was just talking about crosses North Carolina, but there's no huge weather change with it. It doesn't really bring us a relief from the heat. It really doesn't bring any moisture with it. It just kind of reinforces our high pressure to keep us dry today and for the most part going into your Friday as well. So no rain, no storms to deal with today. Our temperatures are back in the upper 80s. There will be a lot of sunshine, but the sky will have that filtered look to it, of course, because of all of that haze. And do keep in mind, we still have that code orange air quality alert in place today and tomorrow. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Temperatures will drop back down into the mid and upper 60s going into your Friday. The haze again will also stick with us for more days, so it'll still be a bit hazy on Saturday, I expect. But then, of course, it's back to typical July, summertime kind of stuff. Low chances for pop-up showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. Rain chances get a little bit better as we go into early next week, but once we get back to 90 on Sunday, we're going to stick it out at that 90-degree mark for several more days to come. I don't really see any relief in the near future, but of course, if that changes, I will be the first to let you know that. You know that.
All right, thanks, Christian. A lot of people already talking on our feed about our first conversation. Of course, people are talking about it at the breakfast table, as well as kids, parents, teachers, all wanted to know the latest with the mask mandate. So just yesterday, we heard Governor Roy Cooper announce his recommendations for public schools in the state.
Yeah, so the school toolkit updated by the state health department strongly suggests everyone, so students and staff in elementary and middle schools, so K through 8th grade, continue wearing masks in classroom regardless of vaccination status. But schools should also suggest that students who are not vaccinated in high school continue to wear those masks. So obviously this is creating a lot of buzz here on our feed, and earlier we read some comments as well.
Well, let's get to some comments here while you guys are still having some time to weigh in. Stephanie said parents should make the decision regarding masks. Someone else wrote in and said, yes, wear the mask. It is better to be safe than to be sorry. Another said, unmask our children. And one last comment here from our text message poll. They said, no, absolutely not. They do not support masks in schools. So as we look at some of the responses here, it's split here as well. And I think that's kind of the nature of this debate. You know, people who are, well, I don't know if it's really a debate since, you know, the governor made his recommendations. The interesting thing about the recommendations, though, is that it's not gospel, right? School districts still can decide what's best for their students.
I think that's important too that we mentioned that.
Yeah.
This is not a mandate or a hard fast rule. This is just a big recommendation from the governor to these school systems. They can still make up their own rules, but this is the recommendation from the governor. This is not a mandate. This is not a requirement at the moment. I think it's important we mention that too.
Yeah, but the North Carolina Association of Educators wanted a mandate. So that is why they released a statement yesterday saying that they wished that the governor had taken an even stronger stance on this, not recommended, but instead required. Of course, there's still some weeks to go until school. So if metrics continue to change, and we'll talk about that in a moment, things could continue to change as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking at these comments, and it's basically what I hear in my neighborhood when we talk about this.
Yeah.
You know, I have a student who's in kindergarten, well, is about to be in kindergarten next month. So excited for him. And, you know, all the moms have been talking about this. Well, what if they do this? And what if they do that? And, you know, the feedback that I've gotten even in my neighborhood has been split. You know, a lot of people are saying, you know, well, we don't have to worry about that. And other people are saying, no, we need to continue to mask up until, you know, something gets done. So we're seeing that play out here too. Let's see. Let's get to some comments here. I had some pulled up that I wanted to read. Unfortunately, my feed refreshed and now it's kind of all over the place. But Michelle said, my child will be wearing a mask despite the fact that she is already vaccinated. Darlene said there should be an option for virtual learning. I'll have to look into that because I'm not sure that there is or if there isn't. Faye says it pays to be safe. And we also heard from Scott Lynch, who said he's not in agreement with the new mask made. And Rick Humphrey said wearing masks all the time will kill your immune system. And then we also heard from Sarah, who said until we get enough people vaccinated and get past this Delta variant, she said, yeah, she is going to support wearing masks in schools.
Yeah, so you know we track the metrics every day, the data, and we have seen very slow movement with vaccination rates. Lately, we've seen the other metrics go up, so the number of confirmed cases, we've seen hospitalizations increase for the 11th straight day, the positivity rate go up, be above that bare minimum goal of 5% or lower, which is what the state health department had established as like our threshold to know that the spread were slowing. So now we're above that. Nearly 8% of all COVID tests are coming back positive. But vaccination status is, when you look at that, they're moving only 1 percentage point every couple of weeks. The vaccine lotteries don't seem to have incentivized people, which was the intent, to go out and get vaccinated. And so you look at the age group, everyone eligible, 12 and older, and you see 54% of that group. So just more than half of everyone eligible for a vaccine has had both doses and is considered fully vaccinated. But if you isolate the group to just the 12 to 17-year-olds, which is most of the group we're talking about here, at least the middle schoolers and some high schoolers, you know, only a quarter of them are vaccinated,
Right.
according to Health Secretary Dr. Mandy Cohen yesterday. And so, right, I can see the concern here with some parents. You know, my child is not of school age yet, so I can't say how I would feel if he were in that situation. But this Delta variant does seem to be affecting younger people more than the other variants were. So things are evolving.
Right. And, you know, on one of my neighbors who's really always has me thinking about, you know, things in a different light. I love having conversations with him. He was saying, you know, well, what's going on with the state here? You know, if they require masks in schools, then would they then have to go back on everything and require, you know, masks at the Panthers games, which are now at this point still free range? You know, anybody can go. There are no capacity limits. There are no mask requirements at Bank of America Stadium. And then so a doctor actually addressed that today and said, you know, well, if metrics continue to go in the wrong direction, it is very possible that we would spiral back into the restrictions that we had, you know, just a few months ago. So, I mean, something all to consider.
I think a big part of this too is the fact that if we think back, it's hard to believe that school's about to come around again, but most of these students missed all of last year or a really good portion of it. So I think a lot of the main goal is to get our kids and get our students back in school and back into in-person learning. And so any way that we're able to do that, I think is kind of the way that they're trending, because we really don't want to go back to having all virtual classrooms or all virtual school again. Right. So any way that we can safely get the students back into the classrooms, I think is kind of the way that this is going, or the reason that a lot of this is coming up.
Yeah.
And a couple parents pointed out here on our feed, Barbara said this and John said this, saying that they feel this decision should be left up to the parents about what's best for their children. I can see that point. You know, parents want the autonomy to decide, is it safe for my child to get the vaccine? Is it safe for him or her to be masked in school? Every child's different. What's the likelihood of your child wearing the mask or following through on hand washing protocols and other ways to keep them safe? And so, yeah, there are a lot of factors at play here.
I think parents want the decision, and even more importantly, they want the time to make the decision. You know, there's only about 4 weeks left until the start of school. Students who are not on a traditional calendar, they're going back, you know, at the beginning of August. So, I mean, there's a little bit of time now to make a decision, but now what are the options? You know, is online school an option? You know, can you enroll your child in a private school at this point if that's something that you wanted to do? You know, what are those options? But you need time to be able to figure those out, to be able to make a decision that's best for your family.
Yeah, and Christian mentioned some school districts are already deciding on their own. Randolph County issued a decision before this state guidance came out yesterday, where the school board voted anonymously Monday night to drop the mask mandate regardless of vaccination status. So at this point, it seems that that is going to be the rule that continues. The school board did not issue any kind of an update after that guidance came out, and so we will be waiting to see what our other triad districts decide to do.
Yeah, and hopefully those announcements will come out within the next few days, because I mean, time is ticking.
Yes.
I think once some of those come out, you'll see a lot of other school districts kind of fall in line behind what the other ones are doing. I think it kind of feels like they're waiting now to see who makes a decision first, and then they may follow along after that. So we'll see. But like you said, time is of the essence, and it's really dwindling down fast.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate your thoughtful and respectful comments on this, regardless of how you feel. It really makes for a great discussion. We have some morning headlines to get to, and then another fun talker coming up momentarily. But we'll start with this. In your crime news, Winston-Salem police are asking for the public's help in identifying a suspect in a recent shooting. Police say the shooting happened on Manchester on East 25th Street around 5 p.m. Wednesday. They say an 18-year-old died and a 56-year-old is recovering in the hospital from injuries. Call Winston-Salem police if you have any information. Greensboro police need your help finding a 19-year-old after investigators discovered his car burned. Investigators report someone last saw Alan Tran at his house Monday afternoon. They say officers found his white Dodge Charger near Timber Creek Apartments on Glendale Drive looking like this. There was no sign of Tran. Call Greensboro police or the Anonymous Crime Stoppers line if you have any information.
Well, the International Civil Rights Center and Museum plans to celebrate the 61st anniversary of the end of the Greensboro sit-ins, where these 4 college students actually led the movement. And I actually also have the CEO of the International Civil Rights Center and Museum here with me to talk more about this celebration. Good morning, John Swain.
Good morning, Denise.
All right, so you all have quite a few things planned this weekend. Talk about what folks can expect.
Sure. What they can expect is a kickoff on Saturday evening of a community party. On Sunday afternoon, conversations in the street. And on Monday, our signature George Simpkins golf tournament to help raise funds to keep this museum alive and vibrant and in good shape.
And so with this tournament, George Simpkins is also monumental in making some changes in Greensboro as well.
Oh, is he ever. Dr. Simpkins was a dentist in Greensboro, and he loved to play golf, but he found that he could not play at Gillespie Park. So he moved to have that park desegregated in a challenge to the city. And it's people like Dr. Simpkins that helps us to live out our great American values of full and equal protections under the laws and being true equals in society.
And so this tournament is a fundraiser, as you mentioned, to
Yes.
help keep this museum functioning. Is there still room for more teams to join?
Yes, we do have a couple more spaces for teams to join. They can go to our website, download a brochure at sitinmovement.org, or just give us a call and we can get them signed up. And also for Conversations in the Street on Sunday, people can still go to our website and sign up for that, and come on out to the community party on Saturday.
All right. Well, thank you for making time to talk to me this morning.
Well, thank you for getting up so early.
This is what we do every day, so
Well,
it's okay.
It's a good thing.
All right. And so again, just to wrap up what we just talked about, festivities begin on Saturday. There's going to be a street party on February 1. Sunday, there's also going to be some community conversations. And then to wrap it up, we're going to have that golf tournament. Again, a last look at the 4 men who sparked the movement to end the Greensboro sit-ins. Of course, if you want to come out and for more information on these events, you can find them on our website at wfnynews2.com.
Okay, let's get to our second conversation. We're about to tee off on something really special here in Greensboro. The Wyndham Championship is back in person this year.
Yeah, right here in the area. August 11th is the start date. The latest golfers are now announced. PGA Championship winner Jason Day, Tommy Fleetwood, 2 of the pros now teeing off in the 82nd Wyndham Championship, August 11th through the 15th. Day, remember, played in the 2008 Wyndham Championship. He came close, but he did not take home the victory. We'll see what August holds for him. And as for Fleetwood, the English golfer is representing Great Britain right now in the Tokyo Olympics. And then he'll head straight to the Wyndham Championship, where he finished tied for 59th place in his first Wyndham tournament last year. Remember, last year was very different. They had the tournament, no fans were allowed, so we had to watch it all play out from our couches on television. Day wasn't in last year's tournament, but Webb Simpson was, and he's coming back as well. So excited for the lineup this year. Every time that the Wyndham draws like big names like this, it increases attendance. And you know, for having to take a year off, you want to come back big and in a big way. And having Jason Day kind of leading that pro card is a good way to do it.
You know, Webb Simpson's a household name here too.
Oh yeah.
Been here plenty of times. I think it's really cool, and it's always good to see, and we never really know until later or right up next to the tournament when some of these big name players are going to be here, just because of their schedules and the different tours and different tournaments that they're playing, depending on what path they want to take to go where they want to go. So I think it's really cool to see a lot of these big names coming, and Jason Day will have a huge following. Tommy Fleetwood will also have a huge following, and it's cool to go out there and see these big groups of people that follow these players so loyally throughout the entire tournament, not just one day, but several days. And a lot of it, whether or not you understand the game of golf, a lot of it is to try to go out there and see if you can get your picture with them too, or kind of catch some of those candid shots. So I think it's really cool, and this will absolutely be a huge draw for folks too.
The Wyndham is just as much a social event as it is a sporting event. I mean, that tent that they have that has been called different names over the years, Margaritaville, I think most recently, is always super popular. Just a place where people gather, they listen to the live music. Nearby, there are the prize-winning events and activities. And so it's all in all just a really fun time, and it's cool to see the triad come together in that manner. But you're right, those big-name golfers really draw crowds. Yeah. Remember, we were talking earlier about Tiger Woods when he came and played at the Wyndham. He had just this huge mob of people following him around from hole to hole. He did great early on. Later on in the tournament, slipped up a little bit, but he really drew a lot of interest in this tournament. And Christian, I know you are like the golf expert. You love golf. Tracy, you golf too.
I do.
You're pretty good.
But, you know, I'm pretty good, but I guess we can call him the expert. That's fine.
Why have we not? Okay, we're going to talk after this.
Yeah, you guys have to golf. I'm more like putt level right now. But, you know, the Wyndham is not a major on the PGA Tour, but it is a great opportunity for these golfers to get points as they try to get to the Ryder Cup, right? I mean, this is a chance for some of them to like up their careers.
Yeah, it is. And this is really late in the year, so there's not that much left in the golf season, if you will. There's only a couple more tournaments left. So this is kind of like one extra chance for them to get those points and really place high, or you start high in the next several tournaments, like you talked about the Ryder Cup and the FedEx tournament and all that. So this is a big deal for them. I will mention, like you said, this is much more of a social event for some folks than it is a golf event. And even me, I'm a huge golfer, but I usually find myself at the Wyndham socializing for the most part, and then when I get home, checking the leaderboard and checking the scores, as opposed to doing that when I'm out there.
Yeah, I watch more golf when I'm watching it on TV than when I'm out at the tournament. The same in Charlotte, you know, when we used to go to that one all the time. It's just easier to watch on TV, and the courses are so vast. It's hard to like follow every golfer around, or at least one throughout the whole tournament. I give props to the people who literally just follow one golfer all day. That is a lot of work. I usually find a spot, stay there the whole time, and I just watch that one hole. So I've missed 17 holes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm not really watching all the golf, so I'll end up recording it and playing it back. But I mean, I love watching it on television. It is something that we air here on WFMY News 2, the championship, or the final rounds. So that's my preferable way of watching it.
I'll
and
tell you
then
what,
free refills at home.
I'll tell you what I need to find. I need to find a friend that lives on Sedgefield. That way I can go hang out with them and sit there in their backyard and watch. It's so cool to see the folks who have the backyard patios set up. You know, they can just sit there all day and watch the tournament.
No kidding.
That's what I need to find.
No kidding.
Paul says he's going. Amy is not. Jason said we can go ahead and get that $8 hamburger at the tournament. Okay, yes. Sometimes the food is a little pricey, but if you're hungry enough, you'll partake. And yeah, Paul pointed out it is the last chance to get into the FedEx playoffs. So a really big deal for some of these golfers.
Yeah, it can be significant. It can be your make or break into the next level. And if you don't go because you think that you're good, and then someone goes and then they edge you out, you know, it's disappointing. So don't let that be you.
If you are thinking about buying tickets, I do have to say this. No. So I bought tickets on the early side, and they're virtual this year. So you have to go through like the Wyndham website and then through Ticketmaster or directly through Ticketmaster to get them. And they're a little pricier than average, you know, with everything changing this year, being back in person and perhaps trying to recoup some losses. But then Harris Teeter, a couple weeks after those tickets went on sale, announced that they are doing discounted tickets, so you can save money if you have a Vic card and go get them at Harris Teeter. This is not an ad for them. I'm just telling you, I could have saved a lot of money if I had waited. And so if you are thinking about
cautionary tale.
Right, exactly. So, but it's fine, all for a good purpose. Wyndham does a lot of charitable work as well, so I'm fine spending
That's
that
awesome.
money.
Yeah, I'm excited. This would be like the first time that we bring our 5-year-old with us to a golf tournament. And, you know, Webb Simpson especially, Jason Day, they have been really great with kids. And I think it's because they have young kids around that age too. So I'm hoping that like Josiah will be able to stick his head out and be like, sign this.
Oh, cute.
Or take a picture.
I'll say too, you know, even if you're not following one of the big name players, don't sleep on some of these folks that you really don't know yet, because it has happened plenty of times before where we see these folks really, really get good and make a big name for themselves on the tour. And you think back, you're like, oh yeah, I saw that guy at the Wyndham. I remember watching that guy at the Wyndham really early in his career. So a lot of that happens. History is made at the Wyndham. So I encourage you, even if you don't know some of the other folks that are playing, don't necessarily always put all your eggs in one basket for Jason Day or Tommy Fleetwood. Kind of keep tabs on some of the other younger players too, because they will make a big name for themselves later.
Yeah, there's a lot on the list here.
Yeah.
Bill Haas is one of them. I'm a new fan of his. Okay. I like my traditional, you know, golfers that I grew up with. But yeah, a lot of the new guys making some waves.
Yeah. Christian Morgan, maybe we'll see your name on that leaderboard someday. It's never too late.
I'll stick to weather. How about that?
Okay.
I'll play golf on the weekends. That kind of sounds like a better idea to me.
All right, give us the final 7 day.
All right, hot and hazy, the 2 H words you need to know today. Of course, the big story will be that haze, the smoke from the wildfires out west, making it into the Carolinas. We do have that code orange air quality alert today. So if you have breathing trouble or you have asthma, better to stay inside today as opposed to spending a lot of time outdoors. That'll be the story tomorrow as well. And the haze doesn't really get out of here fast. It sticks with us for a couple days, likely even going into part of the weekend. So we'll keep you updated, but I would expect there to be at least some air quality alerts or notifications going into the weekend as well. Keep you updated on that. Low chances for pop-up showers and storms do start to come back as we go into the weekend. 20% chance on Saturday, 30% chance on Sunday. We get back to that 90-degree mark on Sunday, and then we do not move for several days. Upper 80s to near 90 each day over the next 7, and then I don't really see any relief in the near future, but I'll be the first to tell you when I do, because I can't wait for it.
All right, so what are you doing Saturday morning, Christian?
Me?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Working.
Oh, man, I was going to suggest a tea time.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. What time?
I like to go early, like 7:30.
Our show's done at 7 on Saturday mornings. We'll talk.
Hey, we maybe can meet 7:30.
That's right.
Have the cameras because I want to make sure I capture the winning moment.
Bring a camera crew.
I'll drive the golf cart. How about that?
Perfect.
Fair enough.
Okay.
All right, thanks so much for joining us here on After GMS. Certainly appreciate your time and your friendship and your conversation.
Yes, we'll see you tomorrow. Get out there and get to it.
Take care.
See ya.